Hello everyone, this is Rishabh Kotial, your Azure buddy. And now, in today's short video, we are going to talk about the cloud and its risk. So when we were talking about the cloud, so what is the emergence of the cloud? What are the security challenges here? Everything we will be going through in this small and short videos, right? So first of all, let's just start with your cloud. So in past few years, we have seen that there is the sudden emergence in your cloud tech itself. So it should not come as surprise that a lot of the organization, they are moving to the cloud. They are thinking that cloud is the futures, and just to add this expansion or to base this expansion to the cloud, there is a big role that is played by your COVID situation itself. So prior to COVID situation, most of the offices were working properly in the normal ways. But with time, what happened? We all goes into the lockdown. So now people want to do their office tasks from the remote locations. They want to, perform their day-to-day activity, their jobs and everything for just like your day-to-day tasks. So how this helps with your cloud, its emergence is that cloud is giving you the freedom, right? Your employees the freedom to move or go ahead and work from any place itself, right? So as our CEO of the Microsoft, Mr. Satya Nadella, they have also explained this that, in past 1 year, we have seen a surge, which we were expecting in the next 3 years, right? So cloud, it is giving your employees you the flexibility that from anywhere they can just go ahead and start doing their work. They just need to log in and start doing their work. It gives ease of usability to your users, to you as well. So it improves the productivity as well. But with the cloud, it also brings the different threats that are present there, right? So most of you are familiar with the cloud tech. In one liner, I always say that this is your on demand IT service, right? So in your IT services, what you required space, a VM, an operating system, web application. So whatever you required, with the help of these cloud solution, cloud service provider, you can go ahead and get your RT resource. I suddenly want to launch a VM. I can launch a VM. I want to launch a web application. I can create a web application. I want to enable backups. I want to take the backups. I can do all those things. So cloud, it bring ease of usability, right? You want to use it. You want to deploy any resource at any moment. You want to work with the different solution, right? Freely. So you would be very easily using the cloud here. Now, cloud is not without its risk. Okay, and what are those risks? Now we are going to discuss them. Okay, so what are the risks related to the particular cloud? Now in here, I'm just trying to show you something with the smaller diagrams with this whiteboard. So what we have is, first of all, we are very much familiar with your on-premise data center, its architecture, what is happening. So you have your user. Okay, so user is this one. He's having his managed device, and now he's sitting on to the your on-prem, right? On-prem data centers. So in that on-prem data center, he can easily go ahead. If someone wants to connect to your on-prem, you have the branch office. You can use your VPNs. Those could be your point to sites and site to site VPNs, right? So you can use your VPN connection. You will have the firewall, which will be dictating that how the connections are going to be, right? You are protecting your network with the help of the firewall. You have deployed the firewall, the IDS and IPS as well. That why don't you start using the for the IPS and the IDS, right? So intrusion prevention system, intrusion detection system. If something fishy is going on, it will be alerting you, preventing the ongoing attacks as well. You can have your web proxies, DLPs, all the different security solution. So whenever user is sitting there, user is doing anything, you are feeling more secure, right? So this was our traditional architecture. It provides you the visibility, it provides you the access control, it provides you the DLP. So you can implement the DLP solutions. You will be having complete logging, that what particular user is doing, how it is doing, and you can implement the different threat protection onto your on-premise as well. Now, if your user, it is just accessing some of its data, right? Let's say that you were having some data, your on-premise scenario. So this data was there. Now, if this user has to use it, so you will be having complete visibility that why this user want to use it, how it is using it, does that user is trying to send that data via mail or whatever he's doing, which application he is doing. But now with time, what happened is that you start moving towards the cloud. So on the right hand side, you can see that this is the cloud solution. Now with this, your data is also now moving to the cloud end. Now this user, if this has to access this data, it doesn't need to go through the whole of your data center security solutions. So when your data was there, so user was going and accessing this, and it was an easy access and for the user. But with that, you were having more, it was easier for you to see and audit all the things that this user is doing. But now this data, you can say that is on the cloud now. Now at any moment that this user need to go ahead and this user need to access the data, it can directly establish a connection with the cloud and just direct access the data. So that's the one thing. Okay, so now your on-prem solutions, they are no use of you for now, right? And when your user from any place, like there could be a number of regions, like nowadays due to the COVID, you are working from the home. So this user is now, let's say, working from home, different user working from the different places, and for any reason they start using your cloud solution. So what happened is they find the user, this is the first problem, that your data is now on the cloud and anyone can access it, and usually you will be requiring a username and password, and your user think, oh, this is so easy, right? That easily I can go ahead and access the data. So I'm just requiring a username and a password, that's it. Then accessibility to this data is easy. So once your user it found that, so rather than using the managed device always, users are thinking, why don't from my own mobile or my tab, rather than logging in into the office laptop, I should go ahead and I should try to access this data as well now, right? So not only that, onto these solution, your user it start using the unmanaged devices as well. So there was the managed device, then they start using the unmanaged device, right? So this is the another thing, that another challenge that you are facing, right? Managed device, right? So again, they start dealing with this scenario where simply user, they found out that this was quite easy to use. So they just logged in and they start using those particular managed devices onto the system itself. So this was the another challenge that was being faced by your users on the daily basis itself, right? So these were the two things. Okay, then these things doesn't stop here, right? So you were using this. Now third thing was, when even the user, when they were using the these solution, you have allowed some of the solutions, cloud solutions. So not only this, let's say that if you have allowed the particular AWS, Azure, so rather than they start using official apps or logging in with in the Azure with the official account or 365 account, they can also use their own personal applications as well, right? On cloud-based application as well. And these could be anything. This could be an Office 365. This could be your Dropbox, right? This could be your, let's just say the Facebook, or your, when your users are using, working with the cloud. So Facebook, or maybe a Snapchat, Dropbox, or, any Google Drive, right? Those kind of the things, it is also, the user, they also allowed to open, like you have allowed to open the Office 365, but you didn't define that it should be only the organization's Office 365. So personal account for the 365, they can start running with that as well. So this was the another challenge that what we are facing. Now, one of the last challenges for now, what I would be saying, that not only this, but we are having the actual threats as well. Now, let's just say that there was some attacker, and now this attacker is using methodology like the phishing. Okay, we were having the attacker is using the methodologies like phishing. So what the attacker did, he somehow grabbed any username and password, and we know that there is the username. Most of the time you will see, to log in into the account, you are requiring the username and password, and attacker grab those things. So once attacker have access to those particular details, those data, now he can simply go and log in and get their hands onto the particular cloud app and start gathering the data, because you have allowed to open the Azure or Office 365. So attacker can open his own account or her own account and start transferring the data onto the private account itself. So there was few of the challenge that were there. Now, each of your cloud service provider, they provide some kind of the security to deal with such kind of the scenarios. Now, to deal with such kind of scenario, one of the solution which is from the past few years is in the market is your CASB, right? So you will be having, you can use the CASB. So what is your CASB? CASB is going to provide you the security from such kind of the things. So it is Cloud Access Security Broker. In short terms, people call it the CASB. So CASB can provide you the security. It can work as your reverse proxy, forward proxy. It can work, for the delogging, identity and access management, and even the apps that what we are opening on those devices. We call them the shadow IT, to deal with the shadow ITs, right? What is user is running, providing you the insight with the help with the logging, all those kind of things. So what we have the solutions like Forcepoint's CASB, McAfee's CASB. So different vendors providing the different CASB solutions as well, right? This is the one thing. Now, this video is mostly focused on to the risk. Okay, and while we are talking about the risk, there is one more thing in the cloud that you should be aware when we are talking about the security itself. So when we are talking about the security, there is the shared responsibility model in all of the cloud. So this is one example from the Azure itself. So in Azure, you will see that there are different responsibility like data governance, right management, client endpoint, account access management, identity and directory infrastructure, application, network, operating system, physical host, physical network, physical data center. So now responsibility when your solution is on premise, in infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So there is the responsibility between your customer and the Microsoft. So many part you will see that customer is taking care of all the things in on-premise. In infra, the physical host, physical network, physical data center, that part is being handled by the Microsoft. Rest is with the customer, right? Operating system updates, network controls, and everything. Now, security is always the shared responsibility. Some part you will be taking care of, some of the part will be taken care by your cloud service provider. Like here, some of them are shared between the like identity, directory, infrastructure, application, network control. These are being shared with the Microsoft and the customer both, right? While few things shifted to the Microsoft. So these kind of the architectures are there, that security in cloud is your shared responsibility. In simple terms, we talk like that. Now, apart from this, what else is there? Now, as I was saying, that many of your cloud service provider will be providing you the security features as well. Like if I just jump into the Microsoft Azure's account, there is going to be a lot of things. This right now I am in my Active Directory. There is going to be the, if you want to do the application registration, you have the option. Device registration, you have the option. You want to enable the multi-factor authentication, MFA. That is also possible, right? Not only one thing, but if you want to just go ahead, perform the MFA, you can do that as well. Now, there are a lot of things. We have different features like your conditional access. Okay. So you will be having the conditional access as well. As you ready conditional access, you can see here. So you can enable those kind of feature here. So if I take you to the security part section, so there is going to be your option of the your multi-factor authentication, conditional access, right? So what is conditional access, how to activate it, like which if user is locating, trying to log in from a certain location, are you going to allow the access, block the access? If user is using certain IP address, or if user is using the very specific application, block the access, allow the access, or allow the access after the multi-factor authentication that you will be defining, right? We always have the feature of the identity protection as well, where you will be going for the user risk, sign in risk, creating the reports weekly basis. If someone try to do the brute forcing, any of these kind of things, you can see here, you can get the idea regarding that. Apart from that, there are a lot of security solution, like we have the Azure Defender, Azure Security Center, Sentinel. There is Office 365 platforms as well, like Compliance Center, where you can define the DLPs and different policies. So these covers cloud service provider provide security on their end as well, while they have the option, we have the option to use some third party security options like CASB as well. So this is it for this week in your cloud and its risk. So if you have any doubt, any questions, you can always reach out to the InfosecTrain. You can, for any further interesting videos, tune to this channel, subscribe to this one, and we will meet soon. Bye bye, take care, get vaccinated.